We have been studying Do Well so far. Last time, we shared that we should listen well. In today's class, I'm going to share a very important topic asking questions well. You need to ask the right questions to find the right answer. In our daily life and throughout our life, we have often situations when problems cannot be solved. When facing those difficult situations, if we can ask a question well, and if we obtain the ability to answer those questions, then we can find the facts we want. So asking good questions is very important. In particular, blessed families must be able to listen to the voice of their heart. Then we have to ask questions for ourselves in order to hear that voice from our heart. Okay. When it comes to asking questions well, we can find many different types of questions, such as open and closed questions, future and past tense questions, positive and negative questions, curious questions out of curiosity, overthrow, a silent moment. You can think of a different question than the moral difficult. Obvious question. Let's think about this today. Open and closed type questions. Let's start by thinking about open and closed questions. Open questions are questions that require more detailed answer than just yes or no. For example, when one asks us, what kind of work do you want to do in the future? We tend to think about what we want to do and then give a reply in detail, right? Don't we? This is an open question that goes deep into a person's consciousness and leads them to give an answer. Conversely, what are closed questions? Closed questions are very simple questions that can be answered with yes or no without the need to think deeply. These are the examples of closed questions. Where is your hometown? Are you hungry now? What day is it today? I recommend asking open questions as much as possible for your coaching. I can say asking open questions means asking good questions in coaching. Then there are future and past tense questions. Whereas future-oriented questions are literally forward-looking and creative questions. Past tense questions are questions that ask about the past. Let's assume a situation. Something happened and something went wrong. How can the coach ask question in this situation? He might ask, if there was a way you could improve this, what would it be? This question is a future-oriented and open-ended question. Asking something like, why didn't you do it? In the same situation is asking a past tense question that reproaches and interrogate. So, what you call a good question is a question that focuses on the how. Focusing on the why isn't a good question because you are just digging of the past. A good question is a question about the future, not fast. There are positive questions. Positive questions are ones that contain positive elements within the questions. On the other hand, there are also negative questions. Negative questions have a lot of negative elements in them, as opposed to positive questions. Would you please look at this picture? Okay. For example, positive questions are: what am I good at? What can I be better at? What are you good at? Conversely, negative questions are: why did I make a mistake? Why did I get it wrong? It is to ask a question about what you did wrong, or to ask it a bunch of such related questions. So a good coach is better off asking positive, forward-looking, and often indeed questions from a more positive perspective. Then there are the curious type questions. I'm one who is very fond of curious questions. Curious questions are a means for getting to know other people more closely. Asking questions with a curious mind usually makes other people happy. They will be excited to answer that curious question. These questions are not guiding questions, but rather an exciting way to show genuine interest in other people. Furthermore, it is a type of question that brings out more information about what is deep inside another person. If you ask the question with curiously, the other person may think, hey, I didn't realize I had this in me. I learned something. I learned notice before. It's good to ask a question with curiously like this. On the other hand, detectives usually ask interrogation questions, don't they? They are questions that unusually, no. They are questions that usually receive short answers. And they are questions that ask about the past. But such questions make people defensive, anxious, and nervous. So it's best to ask a curious question whenever possible. Now, would you all like to ask a question together? What is a curious question? Examples are: what does it take to achieve that? Is there any other case where we can do the job better? Yes, those are very good questions. Can you simplify the meaning of that? Oh, I want to know more about that. I want to know more. I want to know more. Could you please tell me? Tell me one more thing. Oh, yes. Is there anything else you'd like to share? Oh, if that's the case, what do you think would be good? Yes, if you visit 3 or more houses in a day, what would be the good things about that? Yes, these are quite positive, enterprising, and very practical questions, right? Oh, as you do it, if there are obstacles and you'd like my help, I will help you figure out how to deal with those obstacles. If you can ask the other person these, they are good questions that can lead to positive answer. Asking these questions well on a regular basis is like lifting dumbbells every day to build great arm muscles. Great arm muscles. So we have to build the questions muscles, and especially for parents with children, it is a good idea to ask the relevant questions to your children. Jewish parents ask this when their children come back from school. Son, my son, what questions do you ask your teachers today? How do you normally talk to our kids? Did you learn a lot today? Or did you study well today? We would be asking these questions. Those are corrective and oppressive questions. But what question did you ask your teachers today? Hey, you asked your teacher such question? In this way, the children keep asking questions to their teachers. Asking these questions will improve your leadership ability at the same time. So, as soon as questions of curiosity come to mind, ask questions without delay. Watch the energy of the other person change. Detect their emotions and solve curiously. Throughout a serious process, continuing the questions. As time passes, the other party will say, aha, and find the answer on their own. This is the practice of all the answers are within me, which we studied in the coaching philosophy. The answer is within me, but to find our answer, I may need someone else's questions, and good questions always lead to good answers. Everyone, and there are a lot of assignment left for us to do. The best way to accomplish these tasks are to ask ourselves one or two questions a day and answer them before we go to bed. That's what makes you think. Good coaches prefer to be curious and ask a question instead of keeping all the answer to themselves. Another type of questions are the discovery questions. When we ask it questions, we constantly discover insight within other people as they respond. This always excites the coach and the client. An important aspect of coaching is discovering deep insight within other people. Discovery coaching is asking questions that embodies feeling, intuition of the people. Discovery coaching is asking questions that involve feeling, intuition, situational context, regions, goals, motivations, exploring ideas and challenges. The next important questions are natural questions. I said before that the coach shouldn't have an ego. The presence of ego unwittingly opens up based on egocentric questions. So by natural questions, I mean questions that are based in any way. They are the questions that do not contain subjective values or intentions. Or you could say that asking questions that do not concern your own will are good, neutral questions. So, we will practice in groups this style. From groups of 2 people and ask each other questions. One person is a coach and the other client. Strengthen the muscles of questions by asking curiously and discovery questions. Only when we become good at this will we become good coaches, namely Chanbo coaches who are good at asking questions and coach well. Thank you. Thank you very much.